Sangha Japa. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome once again all of you to our Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call of our Krishna Katha Mela. And today, as part of the Krishna Katha Mela, we are very fortunate to have with us our dear Preethi Vilasini Mataji to enlighten on the topic of Krishna, the deliverance of Paundraka and the king of Kashi. Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. So please take over the call.
Hare Krishna, Supriya Mataji.
Yeah, Danvat Pranam, Kirtida Mataji. So before Preethi Mataji, before handovering to you, I would like to hand over to Kirtida Mataji for introduction of yourself, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shyama Supriya Mataji, for your very, very kind and warm introduction. And thank you each and every one of us, four of you, for joining us in this wonderful session of Krishna Katha Mela. So it's really a great fortune, a pleasure, and a blessed moment for me to introduce her great Mataji. So as we all know that she doesn't need any introduction, right? She is just the sun which is self-illuminated, doesn't need any intro. But it's always good to glorify the pure Vaishnavas. So I'll take this wonderful opportunity to just introduce every one of you. So Mataji, we all know she is very skilled, very learned scholar, but professionally also she is very sound. She have done her MS from Brahma University Institute of Technology from Bangalore and done her environmental engineering from Houston in 2010. But still, in spite of getting so much being professionally sound, she doesn't have a trace of pride in her. And instead, she is full of humility and compassion, which is actually the symptom of a pure Vaishnava. So after getting married to a wonderful Vaishnava, His Grace Srinivas Jagannath Prabhu on 13 September 2007, her spiritual journey in Krishna conscious began. Actually in 2009, which bore fruits when she and Prabhu both got initiated by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2015. She proved her skills in being a great scholar and having in-depth knowledge of the Shastras time and again. We are witness to her wonderful, eloquent, and expressive narration of Brihad Bhagavatamrita that keeps everyone glued to their seats, and we have seen the pastimes happening right in front of our eyes. Her management and coordination skills are seen in keeping all the members of Bhakti Sangha bound together with a common goal to please Krishna. And yes, she is among the core team. And owing to him, this entire Bhakti Sangha family is growing by leaps and bounds. Her Bhakti Vriksha classes that she used to take in Atlanta have inspired many souls to take to this wonderful path of bhakti. Now also she conducts several other classes for different yatras and inspires many devotees in their path of Krishna consciousness. Mataji is the epitome of complete surrender to Krishna and Guru despite all turmoils in life. We have already witnessed the tragedy that she faced last year, but still she has remained undeterred and with her increased responsibility and spiritual strength remains fully dedicated to Bhakti Sangha, solving everybody's problems till date. So we are really, really very, very fortunate to have Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji with us. So Mataji, we are really blessed to have you and blessed to have your association. Now you can please take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Kirtida Sundari Mataji, that was too much of an introduction. But thank you so much for the opportunity. And thanks to each one of you for the very wonderful Sangha that I receive with all of your association. Bhakti Sangha has been my lifeline, my life actually. And I'm so grateful to each one of you because without your association, I'm nothing. I'm a big zero. So thank you all so much for being there for me in my life. Yeah. So instead of getting emotional, we'll get into the subject matter today. Krishna Katha is always invigorating, right? So we're going to have a good time listening to a very, very, very interesting topic from the Krishna book, which is very dear to my heart. And I really wanted to book. Am I unmuted? Yeah, I am. Okay. So I really wanted to book this topic before it went away. I was really attracted to this topic. I really don't know why though. Of course, to a great extent, it was an inspiration from His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. Just a few days before our initiation, I had the fortune to visit Alachua. And there I heard this most wonderful class by him. And I was so inspired to read more and more about this chapter, thanks to him. So taking that inspiration, with Krishna's mercy and with all of you Vaishnavas' blessing, I'm very excited that we can all discuss this very wonderful topic of deliverance of Paundraka Vasudev, and the king of Kashi. We'll start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swamin Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschayati Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas on the call to help me speak a few words from the most beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam. So the story of Paundraka Vasudeva is very interesting because it proves that we have always seen many rascals and fools who have considered themselves to be God, even in the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. When he was present, even at that time, there was such a foolish person. His name was Paundraka, and he dared to declare himself as God. So in the previous chapter to this, in the Bhagavatam and in the Krishna book, Balram's visit to Vrindavan was discussed. So while Balram was present in Vrindavan and he was meeting with the gopis and the other residents of Vrindavan, this king Paundraka, the king of Karusha, sent a letter to Lord Sri Krishna, directly challenging the Lord and declaring that he was actually Vasudeva and it was not Krishna who's the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. So in the present day also, we see many such fools and rascals, and there were many foolish people around Paundraka who accepted that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the same thing continues even to this day in this world. So this is the overall summary of the story and how he was actually chastised by the Supreme Lord. So that is a summary of the story, but we are going to head into this chapter with a lot of realizations from various acharyas and how they have analyzed this chapter. So we are going to see this chapter through their eyes, and which is going to be very, very interesting. So the first question is, how did Paundraka even get this idea that he's God? So in the Skanda Purana, there is a very interesting section that talks about the childhood days of this Paundraka, the king of Karusha. This king of Karusha, he had heard from many reciters of the Srimad Bhagavatam and many other scriptures that were there at that time. So he had heard from different reciters, different brahmanas who were visiting his court at that time, that the Supreme Lord Vasudeva was going to incarnate at the end of the Dwapara Yuga. And since it was that time when he was present, when this king of Karusha was present, he started imagining himself to be that Supreme Lord Vasudeva. So from these different scriptures, not only did he hear that the Supreme Lord was to incarnate at that time, he also heard the various descriptions of the Lord, how the Lord appeared, like, how he looked. So hearing these different descriptions, he decided to imitate and kind of appear or look like as if the Lord himself is present. So what he did was he started dressing himself like the Supreme Lord. So based on the descriptions that he was hearing from various scriptures. So even in this day and time, recently, there was one man by the name Kalki Bhagwan. So he heard that the Supreme Lord is going to descend as Kalki Bhagwan, and he decided to become that Kalki Bhagwan, hearing this from various scriptures. So he dressed himself as Kalki Bhagwan and he collected lots of followers, and there were a lot of foolish people who really thought he was Kalki, and he had a big ashram and he was doing all sorts of nonsense, and finally he got arrested. So like that, even in that time, this Paundraka, since he heard that the Supreme Lord is to be, he would be coming, he imagined himself to be the Supreme Lord, and he started dressing himself as the Supreme Lord. And he and his followers, they made sure that they advertised that he was actually the Supreme Lord. So he ended up collecting a lot of followers, and everyone truly believed that this man is actually the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva. So Srila Prabhupada, he comments in the Krishna book, he says, this kind of conclusion is really childish. When children are playing, they sometimes select a king amongst themselves, and the selected child may think that he's actually the king. Similarly, many foolish persons, due to ignorance, select another fool as God, and then the rascal actually considers himself God, as if God could be created by childish play or the votes of men. So that was an interesting comment by Srila Prabhupada, and that's how he starts off this chapter in the Krishna book. So Shukadeva Goswami, we all know, was narrating the story to Parikshit Maharaj in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So when Shukadeva Goswami was narrating the story, he was again and again amused. Shukadeva Goswami was also amused when he was narrating. So he repeated the verse again. He said, you know what, King Parikshit, when Lord Balaram was away visiting Nanda Maharaj's village of Vraja, at that time, this silly ruler of Karusha was foolishly thinking that he is the Supreme Lord, and he dared to send a message to Lord Krishna when Krishna was with the Yadavas. So it is interesting that this pastime happened when Lord Balaram was actually visiting Vrindavan, and Paundraka was thinking in his heart that if Balaram is not there, Krishna will not have support. So he was thinking all the strength of Krishna is only because of Balaram. So if Balaram's support is not there, then Krishna will automatically be weak, and I can challenge him the way I want. That was one of the reasons why he chose to send that message at that time in Balaram's absence. And the other reason is actually this was something that Krishna himself arranged. Krishna did not want Balaram to be there when this pastime happened, because if Balaram had heard something like this, initially itself Balaram would have got really, really angry, and the whole pastime would have not unfolded. So these are a couple of reasons why Balaram was not there when this particular pastime happened. So now, while Paundraka Vasudeva was imagining himself to be God, and he dared to send a message to Lord Sri Krishna, there is another thing he did. Because he really wanted to have the appearance of the Supreme Lord, what he did was, Paundraka Vasudeva, he began to fast in a solitary place, and he worshipped Lord Mahesh for 12 years. Now that is Lord Shiva. So he started worshipping Lord Shiva for almost 12 years by muttering the 5-syllable Shiva mantra. So he kept chanting the Shiva mantra for 12 years, and he was offering puja every day to Lord Shiva, trying to please him so that he could get a form exactly like the Supreme Lord. So at the end of 12 years, Lord Shiva did not appear, and it is explained that he decided to offer his own eye as a lotus flower to Lord Shiva. And finally, Umapati, Lord Shiva, appeared in front of him and asked him what he wanted. So at that time, Paundraka Vasudev, he said that he exactly wanted the form of Lord Vasudeva. So he said, I want to look exactly like Lord Vasudeva. I want to have 4 arms, a conch, a disc, a mace, a lotus flower, eyes like lotus petals, a charming hair, crown, and I want garments like Lord Vasudeva. I want yellowish garments. I want the Kaustubha Mani, and I also want the Srivatsa mark. So Lord Shiva actually gave him this boon and made sure he had all of this. Okay, so he had a fake Kaustubha. See, he cannot have the exact Kaustubha or the exact Srivatsa, but he had a fake Kaustubha. He had a fake line, the Srivatsa line, and then he had 2 extra arms, like as if they were fitted onto his existing arms. And of course, he got a fake conch, disc, and all of these other paraphernalia. Now, Srila Jiva Goswami, the Laghu Vaishnav Toshani, he explains that these 2 arms, the extra arms, could be fitted and removed as Paundraka wished. And also, Jiva Goswami also gives the same reference to these 2 Puranas, to both Padma Purana and Skanda Purana, to explain all these details as to how exactly this Paundraka Vasudev, he acquired this form, which is very similar to Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, now continuing from the Padma Purana and Skanda Purana, as explained by Srila Jiva Goswami and referenced by him, this Paundraka Vasudev, he started really telling the whole world that he indeed is Lord Sri Krishna, and he started gathering followers. Meanwhile, Narada Muni, who had understood all the intentions of Paundraka, wanted to hasten the Lord's pastime of chastising Paundraka. So Narada, he went to the palace of Paundraka to somehow instigate him to send this letter to Lord Sri Krishna. So this is also mentioned in the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam 1066:15, and Uttarakanda Padma Purana is quoted for this particular incident of Narada visiting the palace of Paundraka. So Narada went to the palace of Paundraka, and he saw that this Paundraka had so much pride in him, so much pride that he dared to call himself the Supreme Lord, and he made sure that he even appeared like the Supreme Lord by pleasing Lord Shiva. So he went to Paundraka and he told Paundraka, my dear Paundraka, I understand you're Vasudeva. You are Vasudeva. You've convinced everyone that you're Vasudeva. This is very interesting. However, you should know that you really cannot declare yourself as the Supreme Lord Vasudeva until you conquer Vasudeva Krishna, who is there in Dwaraka. Okay, he gave this message to Paundraka. So Paundraka, when he heard this message, this is the impression that he had. He thought that he is actually Vasudeva. Okay, he himself is Vasudeva, whereas that Sri Krishna in Dwaraka is also called Vasudeva because he's the son of Vasudeva. Meaning that Vasudeva, the original Vasudeva, Lord Sri Krishna, is only namesake Vasudeva. Because he is the son of Vasudeva, he got the name Vasudeva. But whereas I am the Supreme Lord. See, now I have 4 arms and I look exactly like what is mentioned in scriptures. So this was the impression that he had when he even heard about Vasudeva Krishna. So he based on the instigation of Narada Muni, he actually finally sent this letter to Dwaraka to Lord Sri Krishna through a messenger. Now this messenger, carrying this letter of Lord Sri Krishna, he entered Dwaraka and he saw the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Vasudeva Krishna, who was sitting on his royal assembly, and he saw all the kings, all the Yadavas and everyone else assembled there in the assembly of Sudharma. So he went there and he handed over this letter. Okay, generally in those days, instead of just handing over the letter, they would actually read out the letter, the contents of the letter. So since he was a Duta, he was a messenger, he said, I have a letter from the king of Karusha and I have a message for this Vasudeva Krishna. So what was the message he read? This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam 1066.5. Vasudevo avatarinoham eka eva na chapara bhutanam anukampartam tvantu mityabhidam tyaja. On Paundraka's behalf, the messenger said, I am the one and only Lord Vasudeva, and there is no other. It is I who have descended to this world to show mercy to the living beings. Therefore, give up your false name. See, he says, give up your false name, because he was under the impression that he had just acquired the name. The Supreme Lord had just acquired the name Vasudeva. And interestingly, this message, the contents of this message can also be understood in a different way. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who always gives beautiful commentaries about the inner meaning or the alternate meaning of the verses spoken by demons, quotes like this. He says, inspired by goddess Saraswati, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the real import of these verses. He says, I am not Vasudeva incarnate, but rather you alone, and no one else other than you is Vasudeva. You have descended to show mercy to all living beings. Please make me give up my false designations, which is like that of an oyster claiming to be silver. So this is the hidden meaning. Though he didn't mean it, he didn't mean to say this. In Sanskrit, sometimes when you juxtapose certain syllables and words, it gives a different meaning. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has churned out another meaning, which is actually the truth. This is actually the truth. He is not Vasudeva, and the original Vasudeva was in front of him, and he had to actually give this message, but in his heart, he was giving a different message. Okay, and the second line of his message read, Yanti tvam asma chinnani mudaya bibarsi satvata tyaktvahi mam tvam sharanam noche dehi mamabham. O Satvata, give up my personal symbols which you out of foolishness are carrying and come to me for shelter. If you do not, then you must give me a battle. So this is something that Paundraka Vasudeva was telling the original Vasudeva. However, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur churned out a different meaning. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur interprets Paundraka's words according to the inspiration of Saraswati Devi, the goddess of learning. So this can be understood to mean, out of foolishness, I have assumed an imitation conch shell, disc, lotus, and club, and you are maintaining these by allowing me to use them. You have not yet subdued me and gotten rid of these imitation symbols. Therefore, please mercifully come and liberate me by forcing me to give them up. Give me a battle and grant me liberation by killing me. So this is how the inner meaning was taken out from this verse. So when they all heard this message of Paundraka telling that he is the original Vasudeva and Krishna is an imitation, and he's carrying the original symbols, but Krishna is carrying fake symbols. And when he sent an invitation for a battle, when they heard all these statements from the letter, everyone in the assembly started laughing. It was so humorous to them. They didn't take any offense at this point in time. They were wondering, what sort of fool is this? So everyone started laughing, and they were loudly laughing in the entire assembly. The entire assembly was reverberating with their loud laughs of the entire members of the Yadu dynasty. Now, Krishna's laughter is actually very interesting. It's very interesting that Paundraka could make Krishna laugh. I mean, that's amazing. That's an amazing thing he did. Because various demons, there are so many demons we read in Krishna Leela. They all came with some sort of an inimical feeling towards Krishna. But all of them actually gave some sort of happiness to Krishna. How? Because Krishna, he enjoys Virya Rasa. So unknowingly, these demons, they are trying to, they're trying to put Krishna down in some way, like this Paundraka. He's trying to irritate Krishna. He's trying to minimize the value of Krishna. But even in these situations, Krishna takes pleasure from all of this. Like, for example, when Putana came, Putana wanted to give poison to Krishna, right? Putana wanted to kill Krishna. But Krishna, he saw good in that also. He thought, oh, she's coming like a mother. She wants to give her milk. So I will give her personal liberation in Goloka, where she can become a wet nurse. So Krishna sees the good even in that. Now, when Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were fighting with Krishna, Krishna was enjoying Virya Rasa. He was really enjoying the fight, and he was thinking, my dear devotees, Jaya Vijaya, have come here and they're giving this pleasure of fighting. When Indra, he showered rains on Govardhan hill, what happened? He was making an offense. Still, Krishna was very happy because he had all the Vrajavasis with him under the Govardhan hill at a shot. So in 7 days continuously, he could take association of all the Vrajavasis in one place. So Krishna was very happy. When Brahma, he stole all the cows and the calves and the little boys, what happened? What happened at that time? Krishna was, he utilized that time also very nicely, that he became the son of all the mothers and the cows, and he also got to marry all the gopis in Vrindavan. So like this, even when the demons, they do something really mischievous or they try to harm Krishna in some way, Krishna finds a way in which he can be the supreme enjoyer. So that is Krishna Leela. He enjoys anyways. So similarly, when this Paundraka was sending such a crazy message, foolish message to Krishna, even in that, Krishna was thoroughly enjoying. He was thoroughly enjoying, and this Paundraka, inadvertently, he had the service of making Krishna and all the Yadus headed by Ugrasena have a hearty laugh. And Krishna's smile and laughter, they are very, very special. It's not something ordinary. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 3rd canto, when Kapila instructs his mother Devahuti on devotional service and how to meditate on the Lord, at that time 2 verses are spoken. These are such beautiful verses about how to meditate on the form of the Lord. You know what is the pinnacle of one's meditation? One must meditate on the smile and the laughter of the Lord. And these are directly from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 3, chapter 28, verse 32. A yogi should similarly meditate on the most benevolent smile of the Lord, Sri Hari, a smile which for all those who bow to him dries away the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. If you're flooded with intense grief, all that you need to do is meditate on the smile of the Lord. A yogi should also meditate on the Lord's arched eyebrows, which are manifested by his internal potency in order to charm Kamadev for the good of the sages. So if one is pierced by lust, what is worthy of meditation? The Lord's eyebrows. One must have darshan of the Lord's eyebrows, bow-shaped eyebrows, to actually conquer lust in the heart. Okay, and then the next verse, 3:28-33. Very, very beautiful. The first one spoke about the smile, right? So if one is flooded with grief, what does one do? One meditates on the smile of the Lord. Now look at verse 33, 3:28-33 Bhagavatam. With devotion steeped in love and affection, the yogi should meditate within the core of his heart upon the laughter of Lord Vishnu. What's happening now? The Supreme Lord is laughing. The laughter of Vishnu is so captivating that it can be easily meditated upon. When the Supreme Lord is laughing, one can see his small teeth, which resemble jasmine buds rendered rosy by the splendor of his lips. Once devoting his mind to this, the yogi should no longer desire to see anything else. So this is the pinnacle of one's meditation. One starts his meditation from the lotus feet of the Lord, and as he progresses, he must end with the smiling face of the Lord. He should meditate on the smile, and he should also meditate on the laughter of the Lord, where his small jasmine bud-like teeth is visible, and it is all rendered rosy by the shine of Krishna's pinkish lips. So that is the pinnacle of all meditation. And once a person devotes his mind to this, he should not desire to see anything else, because that is the most beautiful thing in this universe. So once you see that, you'll not have desire to see anything else. That is what Lord Kapila is explaining to us. So imagine the entire assembly of the Yadavas, they attained this perfection of meditation. They were seeing this beautiful laughter of the Lord. And Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, it explains these divisions of different smiles. In Sanskrit language, these divisions, they are categorized as smita, hasita, vihasita, avahasita, apahasita, and atihasita. So these 6 classes of smiling, they are smita. Smita means when one is just smiling, where the eyes and cheeks are expressed, or stretched, or there is an expression in the eyes and the cheeks without showing the teeth, like that. So that smile is called as smita smiling. So the Lord has all of these, okay? All of these different smiles are there for the Lord. One is the smita, where he's just smiling like that. And then when the teeth is slightly visible, very slightly visible, like 2-3 teeth like that, a little bit visible, it's called as hasita smiling. So the Lord is giving that hasita smiling, where some of the teeth is seen. And then when the teeth are distinctly visible, when all the teeth are distinctly visible and he has a broad smile, it's called as vihasita. And when he's like laughing really, really happily, the nose becomes puffed and the eyes get a little squint when we are all laughing, right? When we are really having a hearty laugh, that is called as avahasita. And when tears are coming from the eyes, sometimes the best way of crying is when you're very happy and when you're laughing, because you're crying, meaning tears are flowing out of your eyes and the person's shoulders are shaking. So tears are flowing out and your shoulders are shaking. It is called apahasita. And when a smiling person claps his hands and leaps in the air, the smiling expression changes to atihasita. And in this laughter, sometimes clapping of the hands is also accompanied, atihasita. So when someone gets very excited, when they're seeing Krishna, like Narada Muni, for example, when he's in Kirtan and he's singing the holy names of the Lord, he's got atihasita, he's in ecstasy. So he's jumping and his shoulders are shaking and he's jumping off in the air, he's clapping his hands, he leaps into the air. So such expressions are called as atihasita. Yeah. So look like most of the Yadavas who were there in this assembly, they were in the stages of avahasita, apahasita, and atihasita. So they were in that ecstasy. They were just laughing, and they also had this opportunity to attain the perfection of meditation, which is seeing Krishna and laugh like that. So they all had a good laugh. They all enjoyed, thoroughly enjoyed. And after enjoying all these jokes in the assembly, Krishna, he told to the messenger, relay my message to your master. He said, "Oh fool, I will indeed let loose those weapons. The way you're boasting about these weapons I will let loose right on you." So he's actually in the Sanskrit verse says, utrakshe, utsrakshe. So utsrakshe means I will hurl or let loose the same weapons that you're boasting about. You're saying that you are the original carrier of this Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. I'm going to let loose all these weapons on you when I see you in the battlefield. So he says, Utrakshe Mura Chinhani. Yes, fool, I will let loose these weapons when we meet on the battlefield. And again, Prabhupada, he has something very interesting to say in the book Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada describes the scene as follows. When all the members of the royal assembly, including King Ugrasena, heard this message sent by Paundraka, they all laughed loudly for a considerable amount of time. After enjoying the loud laughter, all the members of the assembly, Krishna replied to the messenger as follows: "O messenger Paundraka, you may carry my message to your master. He is a foolish rascal. I directly call him a rascal and I refuse to follow his instructions. I shall never give up the symbols of Vasudeva, especially my disc. I shall use this disc to kill not only King Paundraka, but all his followers also. I shall destroy this Paundraka and his foolish associates who merely constitute a society of cheaters and cheated. So, Paundraka, this is Prabhupada's comments on this particular verse. And Paundraka, he foolishly told the Supreme Lord to come to his shelter. He said, you give up your weapons and you come to my shelter. But here Lord Krishna tells him, you are not my shelter. Rather, you will become the shelter of dogs when they happily feast on your dead body after I kill you with my Sudarshan Chakra. So after Krishna gave this befitting message to the messenger, and the messenger took the message and he relayed it to the king of Karusha, Krishna, he mounted on his chariot, and along with his associates, he headed towards the city of Kashi, and he surrounded the entire city of Kashi. Now, Kashi was the main town. It was a huge city, and Paundraka Vasudeva was in charge of Karusha province, which was close to Kashi. So now the king of Kashi and Paundraka, both of them were very, very close friends. They were very close friends, and from time to time they would be together, like in the same palace. Like sometimes we see even in the Mahabharata, Karna and Duryodhana would be together in the same palace. Though Karna was in charge of Angadesh, still he would choose to be in Hastinapur for some time. So like that, this Paundraka and Kashi, both of them were very, very close friends. And whatever they did, they would do it together. So all these, these messages, everything, this king of Kashi was also involved in this whole pastime. So the king of Kashi and Paundraka Vasudeva, both of them were in the same place in Kashi. So Krishna, along with his army, he decided to surround the entire Kashi area to give this Paundraka a fight. Because what did Paundraka tell him? Paundraka told him, if you cannot give up your weapons, face me in a fight, right? So Krishna said, yes, I am going to face you in a fight and I'm going to let loose all these weapons right on you. So now Krishna mounted his chariot and he went to the city of Kashi. So hearing this information that Krishna has come, Paundraka and Kashi, the king of Kashi, both of them, they mounted on their chariots and they decided to go to the battlefield. Now, Paundraka went with 2 Akshauhinis. Akshauhini is an army with a set of soldiers, cavalry, infantry, all of that, camels and elephants and horses. So one set is 1 Akshauhini. Like that, with 2 Akshauhinis, Paundraka went, and the king of Kashi had 3 Akshauhinis. So total of 5, 3 plus 2, total of 5. With 5 Akshauhinis, they all went to actually face Krishna. Now, when these 2 kings came on the battlefield and Krishna saw Paundraka Vasudeva face to face for the very first time, how did Krishna see Paundraka? He saw that this Paundraka, he had an imitation saranga bow. His chest was marked with a mock Srivatsa. He had a mock Kaustuba. He was dressed in yellow silken garments. He was carrying fake Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. He wore a garland exactly like the Lord, like the Vaijayanti Mala. And even his chariot, he had Garuda marked on his chariot. So that's why in the Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami describes him as Maharatha, meaning he's such a great warrior with a great chariot. Why does Shukadeva Goswami have to do that? He had to do that because Garuda was there as an emblem. Even if it was an imitation Garuda, still Garuda was there, right, on the chariot of Paundraka. So Shukadeva Goswami, out of reverence, it is that Maharatha, that great charioteer, this Paundraka, he went into the battlefield to see Krishna. And however, his entire makeup, whatever he had, those extra fittings and everything, though he had attained it by the mercy of Lord Shiva, still it all appeared like a clear makeup and imitation. And anyone who was there could understand that this was all imitation. And when the Supreme Lord, Lord Sri Krishna, Vasudeva Krishna, when he saw this Paundraka Vasudeva, he just couldn't check his laughter. He started laughing so much, looking at his dress, his makeup, and his posture. And even at this point in the battlefield, the Supreme Lord was laughing with great satisfaction. So that is the picture that you see in the poster. Both the Paundraka Vasudeva and Vasudeva Krishna meeting each other. And Krishna is so amused looking at the way he had dressed up and the way he had appeared in front of him. Now the battle began. So the soldiers on the side of King Paundraka, they began to shower different arrows and lances, poles, swords, daggers, everything, all these weapons, and all these weapons were flying like waves. And Krishna just very easily counteracted all of them. And Krishna, in turn, he let loose his weapons, because that's what he told, right? I'm going to let loose all my weapons on you. So Krishna let loose all the weapons on Paundraka and Kashiraja's army, and all the elephants, the chariots, horses, infantry, all of them were scattered and they were destroyed by the weapons of Sri Krishna. In fact, the entire battlefield looked like the dancing place of Bhutanatha Lord Shiva, because when Shiva does his cosmic dance, everything is destroyed, right? So the entire battlefield was looking like that. And Paundraka's army was really smashed. Everything was gone. But however, Lord Vasudeva, the original Lord Vasudeva's army, by seeing the way Krishna was fighting with everyone, they were gathering more and more strength. So at this time, it was the pinnacle of the battle, like towards the end of the battle. Krishna looked at Paundraka and he said a few verses. So we'll see that verse that Krishna decided to say. It's very funny. He said, Ataha Paundrakam Shaurir Bho Paundraka Yad Bhavan Tutavakyena Mam Aha Tani Astrani Utsrujamite. Krishna said, Bho Paundraka. Bho means ha 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 ha. Okay. So in Sanskrit, when they say bho, it's a laughter. Ha ha ha, Paundraka. You requested me to give up the symbols of Lord Vishnu, especially my disc. Now I will give it all upon you. So he just decided to throw all the weapons, especially his Sudarshan disc, onto Paundraka. And Prabhupada, he often gives these very beautiful snippets, about the disc. Krishna was feeling he didn't like this idea of Paundraka, telling him to give up his disc, because the disc is so special to Krishna. How can someone ask him to give up his disc? So the Sudarshan Chakra is actually very, very special to Krishna. And what is so glorious about the Sudarshan disc, right? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, we see the glories of Sudarshan when Ambarish Maharaj offers prayers to Sudarshan. There's one verse that is very interesting among the different verses that Ambarish Maharaj says. One of the verses, Sudarshana namastubhyam sahasrarchuta priya sarvastra ghatim vipraya swasti bhuyaye daspate. O most favorite of Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have thousands of spokes. O Master of the material world, destroyer of all weapons, the original vision of the Personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Kindly give shelter and be auspicious to this Brahmana. This is 9th canto, chapter 5, verse 4. So this Sudarshana, it is the original vision of the Lord. Okay, so the Lord is very, very, the Sudarshan is very dear to him. And the Sudarshan is also described as the destroyer of all weapons. No weapon at all can stand in front of the Sudarshan Chakra. So the Sudarshan Chakra itself, within the Sudarshana Chakra, actually there are 16 weapons inside the Sudarshan Chakra. So he's actually the Lord of all weapons. The Purusha within the Sudarshana Chakra, if you see how he in the worship of Sudarshana, he's holding 16 different weapons, and one of the weapons within the Sudarshan Chakra is a Sudarshan Chakra. So probably I'll show you a picture later of how the Sudarshana is actually worshipped. So the Sudarshana is very dear to the Lord, and the Lord was like, you asked me to give up especially my Sudarshana, take it now. So he decided to release his Sudarshana. And before he released, he also continued to say a few more things. Krishna continued to tell Paundraka, he said, you falsely declare yourself to be Vasudeva, imitating me. There is no greater fool than you. And Prabhupada, he says, from the statement of Krishna, it is very clear that any rascal who advertises himself as God is the greatest fool in human society. So anybody who says, I am Krishna, I am God, is the biggest fool, Prabhupada says. And then Krishna told Paundraka, now I will force you to give up all the false representation that you're carrying. You wanted me to surrender to you. Now this is your opportunity. We will fight. If at all I get defeated now, I will surrender to you. But otherwise, if you get defeated, you are going to surrender everything, including your life, and your body will just be food to dogs and vultures. So saying this, Krishna first with his arrows, he smashed Paundraka's chariot, and then he released a Sudarshan Chakra that went really, really quick and chopped off Paundraka's head from his body. How? Just like how Indra shaves the peaks of mountains by striking them with a thunderbolt. This is an analogy. An analogy of how quickly and how smoothly Krishna actually sent the Sudarshan Chakra, and it just got chopped off. The head got chopped off. So our Paundraka was punished right there. Now, what about Kashiraj? Kashiraj was also there, right? So what happened to him? So similarly, Krishna also killed Kashiraj with his arrows. And Krishna especially arranged to throw King Kashi's head, Kashiraj's head, in the city of Kashi itself. Just like in Mahabharata, you have this Jayadratha, right? His head, when it was chopped off by Arjuna, Krishna gave him instructions that his head should go flying and it should fall on the lap of his father. That was the instruction that was given. Now, Krishna does this even to Kashiraj. So Kashiraj, who was in the city of Kashi, he, before coming to the battlefield to face Krishna along with Paundraka, he was telling all his residents, he was boasting to all the residents of Kashi that he is going to bring his enemy's head and show it to all the citizens. He's going to chop off his enemy's head and show it to all the citizens. And the king's sinful queens, they were also boasting to everyone, to their servant maids and others, saying that, oh, my lord, my king, my husband, the king of Kashi is going to bring the head of the king of Dwaraka today. So they were all boasting out of pride that, this Kashiraj is going to be victorious and he's going to bring Krishna's head. So Krishna made sure that he sends the head of Kashiraj directly to Kashi. So that head, it was chopped off from Kashiraj's body, and it went flying very effortlessly and very silently, just like how lotuses are carried by the wind. So you have a beautiful, flowery, soft lotus that is just carried by the wind very smoothly, very silently, like that, without any noise. Krishna just shot the arrow, it chopped off Kashiraj's head, and it went flying very silently. It went and fell in the city of Kashi. Now, when it fell in the city of Kashi, what happened? Did everyone identify that? That we are going to see very soon. But meanwhile, Krishna, he returned to the city of Dwaraka. And when he was returning to the city of Dwaraka after conquering Kashiraj, as well as after conquering Paundraka Vasudev, all the Siddhas and heavenly people, they were all showering flowers on Sri Krishna. And what happened to Paundraka? Paundraka, somehow or the other, he managed to meditate on the Lord. He was always thinking of the Lord. He was thinking about what? He was thinking about the form of the Lord, because he also wanted to acquire a similar form of the Lord, right? So constantly, because of the constant thinking about the form of the Lord and constantly dressing up like the Lord, though it was inimical, meaning he didn't have good intentions, but still, he kept doing that over and over, and that meditation actually bore a fruit. So Paundraka, he attained Sarupya liberation when the Lord chopped off his head. So the Lord is very merciful in any circumstance. This Paundraka, he attained Sarupya, holding the same symbols of Vishnu in the spiritual world. So he went to Vaikuntha and he actually got those symbols of the Supreme Lord. The Lord is extremely merciful. So that is what happened to Paundraka Vasudev. What happened to Krishna? He went back to Dwaraka and everyone received him very happily, and all the people from the heavenly planets were showering flowers. Now, what happened to Kashiraj, right? His head. So his head had fallen inside the city of Kashi, just like how a lotus flower is carried away by the wind. So it went there, and everyone, all the people, it just went and fell down there. So all the people, they were very curious to see what it was. Something round had come and fallen into their city. So everyone was curious to understand what it was, and they went close to it, And as they were going close to it, they could understand that it was somebody's head. So they were all talking amongst themselves. Oh, it looks like someone's head. Our Lord told, our Kashiraj, he told that he is going to send Krishna's head. So maybe Krishna has been conquered and this is Krishna's head. Okay, so they were all talking among themselves like that. But then as they went close to it, they could understand that this head was not Krishna's head. Actually, it was Kashiraj's head himself. So once this was ascertained, everyone, they started lamenting so much, and there were so many cries in the entire city that their king was gone. And all the wives also, they came and they started lamenting, and they were thinking, oh Lord, without you, we are as good as dead. And there were cries that were heard everywhere. Very soon, Kashiraj's final rites had to be done. Now, Kashiraj's final rites were carried out by his son by the name Sudakshina. Now, here comes the next part of the story. We are almost time up, but we are going to go over time. Okay. So, Kashiraj's son's name was Sudakshina. Sudakshina came forward and he performed the final rites of his father. Now, this Sudakshina, he was also as unintelligent as his father. So no big difference. Father and son, both of them were foolish. So after he performed the Shraddha ceremony for his father, he took a vow that he would kill Krishna, because Krishna was the enemy of his father and his father died in the hands of Krishna. So he wanted to liquidate the debt that he had towards his father. So he was thinking, how am I going to kill this Krishna? So he decided to take help of Lord Shiva. He performed meditation and some lots of austerities to please Lord Shiva. Now, why specifically Lord Shiva? Because Lord Shiva is the king of Kashi, right? I mean, king, no, he's the Lord of Kashi. He's Vishwanath, right? He's Vishwanath. Even to this day, Vishwanath temple is so famous in Kashi. So he began to worship Lord Shiva, and he was pleasing him in various ways. Now, as he was worshipping Lord Shiva as Vishwanath for a very long time, finally, the Lord Shiva, he became pleased with Sudakshina and he gave him darshan, and he asked Sudakshina what boon he wanted. So at that time, Sudakshina, he asked Lord Shiva that he wanted a boon that he could kill Lord Krishna. Now, Lord Shiva, do you think he's going to give that boon? Obviously, now Lord Shiva is Ashutosa. He gets easily pleased. We all know that. But the boon requested by Sudakshina was that he wanted to kill Krishna. Okay, so obviously, Lord Shiva is not going to say, okay, I'll give you a boon, you go kill Krishna. No. So Shiva, at the same time, he had to fulfill the request of this person, the Sudakshina. So what he did was, he advised Sudakshina. He told Sudakshina, I'll give you this boon, but you know what you need to do? You need to worship the Dakshinagni fire. Okay, it's a particular ritual that is mentioned in the tantric texts. So you do that puja, the Dakshinagni puja, and from that tantric puja that you do, a fiery demon will be created, and this fiery demon will go and he will destroy anyone who's against the Brahmanical culture and who's not a proper Brahmana. Okay, so you can employ this method, and by this method, your enemy will be killed. So Lord Shiva is extremely intelligent. Demons think that they can bewilder anyone, but actually they get bewildered. So Lord Shiva gave this boon, and this Sudakshina, he was unintelligent like his father, right? So he was thinking, actually, this is a very good idea. Let me do this tantric worship and let me invoke the Dakshinagni fire, and from that, let the demon come and be sent to Dwaraka, and Dwaraka will be destroyed and Krishna will also be destroyed. So why did he even think that Krishna is against the Brahmanas, against Brahmanical culture? We all know Krishna is Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, right? He's the protector of all the Brahmanas. That is what Krishna is. But the Sudakshina, he had a different notion about Krishna. And again, in the Laghu Vaishnav Toshani, it is described that Sudakshina was thinking that there are so many Brahmanas who go to Dwaraka and they pay their obeisances to Krishna. Why should exalted Brahmanas go and pay obeisances to Krishna? That means Krishna demands that the Brahmanas go and fall at his feet. So definitely he's not the well-wisher of the Brahmanas. He's torturing Brahmanas. He's making Brahmanas come and fall at his feet. So he's not a proper person. He's not the right person. So he's against Brahmanical culture. So if I invoke this Dakshinagni fire, definitely Krishna will be killed because he's against Brahmanas. This was the kind of conclusion, mental concoction that Sudakshina had. Okay, so Sudakshina, he employed this tantric worship and he invoked this Dakshinagni fire with the help of some Brahmanas, qualified Brahmanas who were chanting the mantras. So after he started performing this great sacrifice, from that fire, a demoniac form came out, and the face of this fiery demon was very, very big, very fierce. The demon had eyes that were like cylinders, fiery cylinders, and he had sharp teeth and red lips, and he was licking his lips, and he was looking really, really fearsome. He was carrying a trident, and he was dispatched immediately to go to Dwaraka along with several Bhutaganas that arose from the fire. So the Dakshinagni, along with the fiery demon of the Dakshinagni, along with all these Bhutaganas, they were dispatched by Sudakshina to where? To Dwaraka. So all of them, they started marching towards Dwaraka. So when all of them were marching towards Dwaraka like this, towards the capital city, at that time, the entire city was shaken up by the striking steps of this demon. Everyone was shaken up, and the citizens of Dwaraka, they were so alarmed. They were like, forest animals that are agitated when a forest fire begins. So imagine in the middle of suddenly a forest fire strikes, and all the animals, they are screeching and they don't know where to go. So like that, all the citizens of Dwaraka, they didn't know what to do. They suddenly saw that a huge fiery demon is coming with all these Bhutaganas as if they're going to destroy the entire Dwaraka. So all the citizens, they ran to the palace and they informed Krishna that we are in great danger. There is something that is coming to attack us, and looks like the entire Dwaraka is going to be burned down. Now Krishna, he is the only one who's worthy of shelter. And he's the only Sharanyan, right? That meaning the one who's worthy of shelter. Sarvaloka Sharanya, that is Krishna. So obviously, if anyone has a problem, they will go to Krishna only. Even in Vrindavan, we saw anyone had any issues, they would go run to Krishna. So like that, even the Dwaraka Vasis, they didn't know what to do. They just went and they surrendered to Krishna. They said, Krishna, help us. Look at this, something is coming and it's trying to devour the entire Dwaraka. Now, Krishna at that time, he was playing dice, or in some places it's mentioned that he was playing chess with his wives and other people. He was engaged in a game. So he didn't want to be disturbed in the middle of the game. He was enjoying. And then these people, they were screaming and they were telling, oh, Krishna, there is a fiery demon who's coming. And then Krishna looked at them and he smiled and he said, okay, don't worry, I will take care of it. Now, what is the meaning of the smile? When everyone is so agitated, imagine the Lord's reaction is that he's just smiling. He was smiling because he knew the internal intention of Lord Shiva. He was thinking about Lord Shiva and he was smiling. He was thinking, how intelligent is my Lord Shiva? So he was thinking like that and he was smiling. Bhagavatam, calls Krishna as Sarvasya Antar Bahir Sakshi. That's why he was smiling, because he is the Antar and Bahir Sakshi of everyone, including Lord Shiva. He is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, right? Who's the Paramatma? Krishna is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, including Lord Shiva. Even the Vedas say that. Okay, so Krishna is the Paramatma. So he knows what is the intention of Lord Shiva, and he was smiling. Shiva's external actions meant something, but internally what he wanted, Lord Krishna understood very nicely, and he was smiling and he told everyone, it's okay, all of you calm down, I'll take care of it. He didn't even move from his game. He was just smiling. And then he looked at Sudarshan, who was always there next to him, waiting for Krishna's order in a personified form, and he dispatched Sudarshan Chakra. So everywhere Sudarshan. So Sudarshan immediately, Krishna just looked at Sudarshan and Sudarshan left. So Sudarshan left and he started he went and he stood in front. Sudarshan was dispatched, he went and he flew and he stood in front of this fiery demon and checked his progress. So he just stopped this fiery demon. And who can stand in front of Sudarshan? Nobody can stand in front of Sudarshan. So this fiery demon was stopped immediately and he had to head back. The minute the fiery demon saw Sudarshan, he had to reverse and he ran back. And these tantric, yajnas that they do, they cannot just be wasted without bearing fruit. If this fiery demon did not destroy the enemy, the rule according to these tantric procedures is that it would revert back and it would come and it would destroy the person who initiated this demon, meaning the person who started the Dakshinagni fire. That person would be destroyed along with the Purohits who are helping him initiate the fire. So the demon reversed himself and he started running towards Kashi, and he went and he destroyed Sudakshina, who's Kashiraja's son, and all the priests who helped him initiate this tantric sacrifice. So all of them were destroyed by their own fire that they had created. And this shows that if anyone, these demons, they think they can kill the Supreme Lord, but their own intentions actually kill them. So whatever they started to, destroy the Lord, that itself will destroy them. So like that, the Sudakshina and all the priests, they were all destroyed. And Sudarshan Chakra always goes one step further. He doesn't stop with just chasing away this fiery demon. He made sure that he went and he destroyed the entire Kashi. Sudarshan went everywhere and destroyed everything in Kashi. Kashi was a very glorious city. It was known for its huge buildings and huge platforms for delivering lectures and pillars and all of this. Very, very luxurious and very well-developed city. Even to this day, Kashi is a very important city. So even at that time, Kashi was a very flourishing city. But Sudarshan, he went and he destroyed the entire Kashi and he burned down Varanasi into ashes. So one may ask, why would you go and burn down the entire city into ashes just because Kashiraj did a mistake or just because Sudakshina did a mistake? But here it is explained that anyone who even supports demons, who even encourages demons, who's an accomplice while going against the Supreme Lord, even they get destroyed. So anyone who knowingly associates with the wicked are also burnt into ashes. This is what Bhagavatam says. So this excursion of Sudarshan was more ravaging than the modern bombing, Prabhupada's comment. So the Sudarshan Chakra, he finished his duty and then he went back to Krishna in Dwarka. So like this, Paundraka Vasudev, Kashiraj, and Sudakshina, who started the Dakshinagni fire, all of them were destroyed, including the entire city of Kashi by Krishna. This is quite a devastating chapter, but there is a beautiful Palashruti for this chapter. What is the Palashruti? By hearing about the glories of Lord Uttama Shloka, who punishes the wicked or those who associate with the wicked, is very purifying. All the sins of the listeners of this pastime are vanquished. This narration of the devastation of Varanasi by Krishna's disc weapon, the Sudarshana Chakra, is transcendental and auspicious. Anyone who narrates it or hears the story with faith and attention will be released from all sinful activities. Congratulations. The only qualification required, do you think you're qualified to hear or am I qualified to speak? No. The only qualification required is full faith. It doesn't matter if the listener or reciter has any other qualification or not. If he has faith in this pastime, all his sins will be destroyed. How can all sins be destroyed with just faith, with just listening? Brihad Vaishnava Toshini, Sanatan Goswami explains. When a person offers his heart to Krishna with faith, he becomes an object of Lakshmi's mercy, Samahita, meaning he receives bhakti. What is the ultimate mercy? that the goddess of fortune can give to us. It is bhakti. And this bhakti develops in the heart. With faith comes bhakti. When bhakti is nourished, one becomes free of all sins, even those sins which are about to fructify, and he receives the qualification to go to Vaikuntha. What's the point of destroying sins? The point of destroying sins is to ultimately develop love of God and go back to the spiritual world. So if one listens to the story with faith, just with faith, bhakti will develop and destroy all sins, and one becomes fit for liberation. This is the assurance of Shukadev Goswami, who narrated the story to Parikshit Maharaj. So this was our story. And I also want to thank Radhika Kasturi Mataji for giving me the commentaries of Laghu Vaishnava Toshini, Brihad Vaishnava Toshini, and all the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentaries, so that I could put everything together and also reference from Skanda Purana and Padma Purana as told by the Acharyas. So thank you all so much. I don't know if I did justice, but I tried to put everything together, including Prabhupada's notes on the Krishna book. So hope it was useful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. What a beautiful class. It was simply a storytelling, and you are good in narrating stories. You are really the grandmother of Bhakti Sangha. So yes, it was so beautiful. And I really like, especially, the way you were describing Smita, the laugh, the smile, and it was so beautiful. And I could really feel, if like materially also, sometimes when we are so happy, we clap, tears come out, but yeah, transcendental happiness is something very, very different. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. And thank you for the beautiful Falashruti. Yeah, congratulations to each one of us who were patiently listening, and of course to you who was so nicely narrating. And I think so your absorption was 200% than what the listeners have. Definitely the speaker's absorption is very much, because the speaker first of all prepares and then speaks with one pointed attention. But thank you for the beautiful class. It was really an enriching pastime. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I definitely enjoyed. I was waiting to meditate on this particular chapter for a very long time. Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, Panishwari.
I am sorry, Mataji, nobody can unmute themselves. I forgot to unmute themselves. I was just involved in your story. I didn't even remember that class is over. I have to unmute everybody.
Hare Krishna, Preethi, Vilasini, Mataji. I have no words, but as Kirtida Sundari Mataji was saying, and I was thinking, I hope I'm not being presumptuous, but I'm saying that looking at you as you were narrating the story, I could also see those different types of smiles, those different types of laughter. So when your teeth are showing and when your teeth are not showing, I was just carried completely away. I did not know this. I mean, I know the story in an outline form, but of course the depth that you bring to it was amazing. There are so many points, but the one point that stuck in my mind was that Krishna finds the smallest thing that you've done, and he magnifies that into devotion. You have all that, right? He sees that silver lining within that whole mass of darkness. And not only that, but he takes enjoyment from it. Yeah. That's just a different level, because seeing the good in people is easy. Not easy. What I'm going to say is that, there are people who can see the good in other people. But to be able to enjoy that at the same time and seeing the good in people and then enjoying it, Krishna is just above the top. I mean, he just takes it, away to a different level. And I could not, I had to do something downstairs. I'm carrying my phone around with a little pad and writing things down and running up to don't say anything to me, don't talk to me, telling everybody. It was amazing. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for helping, guiding, and giving us that faith. I must say that it's giving us that faith, and I will remember this. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Phaneshwari Mataji. Just your words, they make everything beautiful. The after class words are the most beautiful part of the entire class. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Preethi, Danva Pranam.
Cool.
Such a beautiful class, just like Ikda Mataji mentioned. A very beautiful narration. Sorry, I'm cooking something. Yeah, so nice narration and storytelling. I remember you were mentioning that, if you look at his smile, you get rid of grief. And then what did you say you look at to get rid of lust?
Eyebrows.
Eyebrows, yeah. I know I had also read somewhere that, you should look at his thighs to get rid of kama, lust. So I'm not sure. I think I heard it from many times from different Maharajas too. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be there in the Bhagavatam itself. The Kapila's description, from there you could probably find that there is something. Those verses, those set of verses will definitely have how a yogi should meditate on each part of Krishna's body. 328, Canto 3, Chapter 28. You can find something there.
Sure, Preethi. Yeah, I was just reminded, so I was a little confused. So is it the eyebrows or?
Yeah,
because I know the Cupid's eyebrows, that's what they say, right? I mean, generally that's how they describe, but I read that, you look at his thighs to get rid of lust.
328, 32, Mataji, the verses. A yogi should similarly meditate on the most benevolent smile of the Lord Sri Hari, a smile which for all those who bow to him drives away the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. A yogi should also meditate on the Lord's arched eyebrows, which are manifested by his internal potency in order to charm Kamadev for the good of the sages. This is the verse, Mataji.
Sure. Thanks so much, Preethi. Very nice storytelling. In fact, I was reminded of your Guru Maharaji also. He narrates so nicely the Krishna Katha.
Yeah, and he had also given a class on this. It was very short. Yeah, it was very, very nice, that class.
Yeah, so I think you're just following your Guru Maharaj's footsteps.
I pray I can someday. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Preethi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Garangi Mataji has raised her hand.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Boy, I'm just going to be redundant here, but I have to be, because everybody always talks about your storytelling, but it's just so endearing the way you tell stories, because it just makes you feel like you want to be a child again. Preethi, that's something you was saying, you're the grandmother of group, and you just make me want to be your grandchild.
Oh, I'd love to be.
Really? I just feel like that. I just want to be that, in kindergarten class, listening to my kindergarten teacher telling these stories. But anyway, I do have one question.
Yes,
when you were saying that if we hear with faith, we will get bhakti, right? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, so this word faith is what I'm asking about, because, most of us will say, well, we believe these stories, that we don't doubt that they are true. So I'm just wondering if this word faith means something more than simply believing, because we can say we believe and then still we don't feel our bhakti is really so much there. So can you help me out with this word a little bit to understand what is really by having faith in order to get bhakti?
Yes, so initial Shraddha should intensify later as firm faith, as Nishtha. Like you see that stages of developing devotion, first there is some Shraddha, little bit faith, and then you take devotee association. So when you take devotee association, that faith gets strengthened and eventually it becomes firm faith, Nishta. So even when we are hearing stories, initially we should have some faith. Yes, it happened. Krishna is capable of doing this. Krishna is that. But then as you keep hearing these stories, you eventually get absorbed and your faith gets strengthened. When you have real Nishta, that is when bhakti steadies in the heart. So definitely it's not just that fleeting faith. It is an intensified faith with absorption.
Yeah, it seems like it's more like on an emotional level, meaning that, like, you know how we have faith that if we have money in the bank, we'll be okay. You know, it's like that psychological level of, like, you know, not just I believe or don't believe. You know, like, you know, it's like it seems like it's more the kind of faith that is a deep and abiding type of sense of psychological, emotional security type thing, but as opposed to just, oh, I accept it's true or I don't accept it's true, you know, like that, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vinita, Mataji. Vinaya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, what a beautiful class, Mataji. Everybody was saying like that. So beautiful. As we always say that you are a grandma, and nicely saying the beautiful stories. And especially when the war is going to start, you are like, you know, you are laughing. That laugh was very beautiful. And everything that you narrate was able to see in front of the eyes how, you know, Paundraka was acting as if like he's Krishna and he's wearing everything and he's showing off. It was so nice how why the Balram was not there at that time. Everything was so beautifully described, Mataji. Thank you so much. And also the Lord Shiva's boon is always, you know, every time it is like that only. Whatever boon he gives, it is always like towards Krishna only. But and demons, they don't know that why he is giving, because they don't have that much intelligence to think what is the reason behind Lord Shiva giving that boon, right? So beautifully explained that also, Mataji.
Actually, I wanted to say, I forgot when I was talking, even in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatan Goswami talks about it, saying that Lord Shiva, he gives boons, but he always makes sure there are loopholes in the boons. So that's how he describes it. Even here you have a loophole. With the point that actually Shiva tells this guy, you know, he tells the Sudakshina that actually it will not work against people who are, he very sweetly says that this thing will not work against people who are, you know, favorable towards Brahmanical culture. And in spite of it, somehow the Sudakshina assume that Krishna is that kind of a person. So Shiva knows, okay, he's purposely putting a loophole there so that the plan fails. So, and it's very nice. Even in Bhagavatamrita, this whole thing about Lord Shiva is discussed in so much detail about the different boons he gave to different people with loopholes. Yes,
Mataji, so beautiful. That I really like. And also maybe that is all Krishna's plan to remove his ignorance, that he did not understand what boon exactly mean. Krishna is a friend of the Brahmanas and the cow. There is, you know, that is Krishna. You see, Krishna, he's a cowherd boy actually. I don't know why he did not have that intelligence. Maybe that is Krishna, right? Krishna only gives us remembrance and in the forgetfulness. So, so that is all Krishna's plan, to remove our ignorance when we had to learn something. So very beautiful, Mataji. Beautiful class. I really loved. And I was today also I was working in the kitchen very busily, but could concentrate on the whole story. Thank you so much, without any deviation. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Parima Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. First of all, my Dandavat pranams to you for such a wonderful, amazing class. I believe tomorrow it is Kirtida Sundari Mataji's turn, and that's the last one. So
and then we have Srila Prabhupada on Friday. Prabhupada's Krishna Katha. From the Krishna book, Prabhupada's recital of Krishna book.
I'm sorry for making that comment. I thought it was the last one.
No, of
So I
course,
was
I think the
thinking
last
that
among the
you
devotees.
two.
is
So I was thinking you two are the desserts. That is why you saved for the last. You get the dessert at the last. So both you and
No,
Mataji.
Mataji, not because we are desert. We just thought because
No, because you are
we
two are
are
desserts.
hosting.
Really, you both of you are wonderful speakers, and you help people progress in their bhakti, and you inspire people, dull people like me to speak. So that is so. Thank you so much, Mataji. And I just had one thought that came to my mind, and I just wanted to share it.
Yes,
Actually,
Mataji.
I had come across. I mean, I had met a very elevated Sri Sampradaya sannyasi, and their approach is, of course, very different from our approach.
Mhm.
So he had a class, and he said that in the class that Lord Shiva, all other gods give boons, but Krishna never gives boons. Krishna only makes sure that the person who has come to him comes back to him. He goes back to Godhead. Yes. All other the gods, they give boons. Gods are demigods, whatever we can say, but
Yeah.
Krishna never gives boons. So it was a very nice point that came to my mind when you just
Very
were narrating this boon thing about Lord Shiva. So
Very
just
true, very true. It is very, you can never, it's very hard to please Krishna for material boons. He doesn't
exactly.
want to give it. So nobody goes to him also. Nobody even tries, right? Nobody even tries.
There is no such thing that Krishna, there is no such reference that Krishna gave me a boon of wealth. No, actually,
No.
even if he
Actually,
did give,
Krishna,
he made, yes, it's very nice, Mati.
he's just not interested in, and
Yes.
that even demons are not interested in him, which there's not a single demon who has done austerities towards Lord Vishnu and acquired a boon.
Yes, absolutely, yes. So that's a very nice point, Mataji. So thank you so much for your wonderful, wonderful association, for the wonderful class. And I always look forward to hear from you. So Mataji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Preethi, Vilasini, Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. Very wonderful class, Mataji, waiting for this for such a long time. And after the Bhagavatamrita, I think this is the next time that we're getting to hear your story. It's so beautiful. It was so wonderful. And the way you explain it, the way you always ask questions, it's an interactive experience for us. One thing that I was thinking was you're talking about how Krishna is made to laugh. So that's why Paundraka is special in that way, that he is one demon who made Krishna laugh. And I was just wondering that this whole month we are focused on Damodar Krishna, and Damodar Krishna is just crying the whole time. And so you were saying that we need to focus on, the smiling Krishna, the smile of Krishna, the beautiful face of Krishna. So yeah, we'll remember that, Mataji. Thank you so much. And one other thing I wanted to tell you both, Kirtida Mataji and Preethi Vilasini Mataji, is that I really, really am grateful to you for opening this entire 2 months for Krishna Katha series, for everyone to come and speak. And you're like, definitely you want anybody who is missed out, you really want them to also join, you want them to also come and give a class. That eagerness we are seeing in you, because you want all of us to grow and love. And when we are trying to speak on Krishna's pastimes, definitely we would have to prepare at a different level. So, and our absorption, like what Kirtida Mataji was also saying about you, your absorption is so much more than the audience at that time. So I really, really thank you for providing this opportunity to each and every one of us. Very grateful, very happy to hear from everybody. I'm so happy to hear from you both, from you today, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Indu Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah. Very grateful.
Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Mataji, Dandavad Pranam. So beautiful class, Mataji. So it was very long time. We missed your classes, and it was very nice. every day we used to hear the comments and everything, but seeing you, but today, like whole class, it was very nice looking at you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Radharani Mataji. Dandavats.
Hare Krishna, Preethi Mataji. Mataji, I'm so sorry. At the end, my phone got like disturbances and laptop also disturbance. I was not able to unmute and hear properly the class. Last, I think 10 to 15 minutes, Mataji. I will go back and listen. But whatever I heard from starting to like after 10:55, I heard Mataji class properly. That was very, very fantastic, Mataji. And I would like to listen the remaining part and I will share my comments, Mataji, definitely.
Sure.
The part I liked was like the laughing part. You described it very elaborately, Mataji, and how we have to think on the laugh of the or smile of the Krishna, and how we can come out of our miseries when we are in like miserable state or situation. That is very really nice, Mataji. And the Paundraka thing also you elaborately described, and how Krishna also gave some kind of what we can say, good fight with Paundraka, Kashiraj. These are all very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. And seeing you is also very, very nice, Mataji. So pleasant to see you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Supriya Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. So I would like to read some comments, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Kamalaki Mataji. Dandavats.
Hare Krishna. Well, I heard up to the Krishna goes to Kashi to fight with Paundraka. And then I had to go in the kitchen because this is one. So then I just came back. But I heard a little bit here and there, but it's not, so I have to hear again. It's very nice. It's very nice to see you and very nice to hear you. You know, see you sometimes take me away, but hearing you is very nice.
Thank you, Kamalaki Mataji. You are our mother in this call. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your blessings. I mean, without you, I don't think these calls really, they are so meaningless. Sometimes I feel without your presence. Thank you. Thank you for being there for all of us. Each one of us, we look up to you, Mataji.
Mataji, very nice to hear from you.
Hare Krishna,
I'm
Mataji.
wondering, is this a last Krishna's classes or?
Tomorrow is Kirtida Sundari Mataji, and that is going to be like the finishing of this entire series.
Oh.
And of course, Srila Prabhupada to, do the last part. We'll have a recording of Srila Prabhupada. But among the speakers, tomorrow will be the last by Kirtida Sundari Mataji. And if at all we have, missed anyone, we would definitely like to accommodate in some way or the other. Even though we will finish now, still there is scope to accommodate. So if anyone would like to speak also can always get in touch with us and we will somehow accommodate their request.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Thank you. So all the classes, very nice classes. All the devotees gave. It's very nice.
Yes, Mataji, it was such a 2 months. So beautiful, so beautiful. Everybody gave such beautiful classes. It was so hard to say, like, okay, this person gave good class. Everybody gave a good class. It was like that. Yeah.
Mataji, shall I read the comments?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we have from Raj Prabhu, Hare Krishna, beautiful class, Jai. From Lalitangi Mataji, Preethi Vilasini, the director of every release from Bhakti Wood Blockbuster. To Sukha Mataji, Sukhsagari Mataji, cannot admit. I totally agree. Paneshwari Mataji, Nanda Priya Narmada Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranams, Sukhsagari Mataji. I too agree. Was thinking it will be nice to hear at bedtime. Mataji sent some text of 14 to 15 text. And this Nanda Priya Mataji. Such a beautiful class, Mataji, mesmerizing. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. And Sukhsagari Mataji sent the translation for the text of 14 and 15. And then next, Paneshwari Mataji, I said 31 plus favors of Bhakti. Each one gave us a different taste of Krishna.
Correct.
And the next, yeah, that's it, Mataji. That's it. So these are the comments. Yeah.
I think Lalita Mataji. Yeah.
What a beautiful class, Mataji. I don't have words. So nice. And I mean, as everyone said, by your absorption, you're making us also absorbed in the Leela. Thank you for telling all the points from many different places and acharyas together as one package. And thanks to you and Kirtira Mataji for arranging this Mela. This is so nice. You were behind so many people to make them speak, and everybody, was preparing, and we were involving ourselves in Krishna Katha, listening to others, and it's so wonderful. Thank you so much to both of you. And I have a request: if we can do something special for Srila Prabhupada also like this, because this is the year of his birth centennial, and many places they are doing something special. So we can, if you can plan something, it would be great.
Definitely. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Preethi, Vilasini Mataji and Kirti Mataji, they are collecting all the jewels. They were signing jewels. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, we heard a Diwali Mela is coming and Krishna Katha Mela is going to end. Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Anybody have any realizations? You want to share something with Mataji? Please go ahead. Or else we can end the call. So, Mataji, do you have some couple of minutes, Mataji?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I have some fun questions, Mataji. I'm bringing the charger, Mataji. My laptop is going to die. Okay, when you say, Mataji, that Krishna love will give us some relief from our miseries or distress. So last night I heard some like very news, Mataji, for devotee. She's like a very devotee, and she got some kind of cancer and her tongue is removed.
Okay.
Out of cancer. I was like disturbed, very much deeply disturbed. So if we think, if you are completely immersed in this devotion, and someday we have to face these kind of situations, at that time, how to gather and get faith on Krishna that he will stand with us. So at this hearing this news, I was completely disturbed. So how to withstand this kind of situations, Mataji?
So, Mataji, how it is through practice. And see, we all start with a little faith, right? We start with a little faith. Without Krishna consciousness, so even the smallest of the difficulties, they appear to be very magnified. With Krishna consciousness, even the greatest of reversals in life can be easily handled. Why? Because Krishna, he's the Krishna takes care, Mataji. He just covers you, Mataji, so much that he will take care of you. We don't know how it is happening, but it will happen. He'll just cover us with his embrace, invisible embrace, and he will take care of us. But what is required from our side? Faith and surrender. Surrender is a very easy word, you can say surrender. But to actually practice surrender is very hard, very, very hard. How do you practice surrender? You practice surrender by, when you're hearing, you should absorb. You should really absorb. If you're good at chanting, try your best to absorb when you're chanting. So each one has their own strengths. Of course, chanting is the basis of our movement. Chanting is the basis of Krishna consciousness. Harinam is everything. When you're chanting, if you can, try to immerse, or at least when you're hearing, try to immerse. The more immersion you have, through Srila Prabhupada's books, through the Bhagavatam, through the Bhagavad Gita, the more immersion you have, the more surrender slowly starts developing. See, Srila Prabhupada's books, they are the medicine for this age of Kali. What does Prabhupada's book start with? Prabhupada's book start with you're not the body, but you are soul. That is the very first lesson, right? That is the very first lesson of Bhagavad Gita or any spiritual science. You're not the body. We hear this again and again, but have you really realized it? I have not realized it. But we are trying to realize this fact. We're trying hard to realize this fact. The more you read, for me, reading Shravanam has been my way to Krishna. So I always talk about Shravanam or about reading Srila Prabhupada's books. They are very potent, very, very potent. We should not just read, like Gaurangi Mataji was asking, like about faith, right? Is it a fleeting faith or is it faith with absorption? So she was also touching on the same point. So when we read or when we hear Krishna Katha also, it should not be that we're just hearing, we should listen, we should pull it and we should grasp it into our heart. So if we can do this with practice, with practice, our faith intensifies in Krishna and Krishna's protection. Krishna need not protect our body, Mataji, but he protects our devotional service. Only devotional service is something that is eternal. So if when Krishna says that my devotee never perishes, he doesn't mean that your body doesn't perish or your difficulties doesn't perish. I mean, difficulties, will perish. Difficulties related to the body is going to be there for everybody. Nobody is exempt from all this. All this will be there with respect to body, with respect to our relatives, whatever. All our difficulties are going to be there. Just because you're a devotee, it doesn't mean that, suddenly everything is put into a vanish and stop. No, the way you respond to it differs. The way you respond to it changes completely once you take up to the process of Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna becomes and he takes control. It's no more in our hands. He takes control and he covers you so beautifully, Mataji. So how to have faith how to have faith in Krishna during reversals, right? That is your question. If we have not developed our initial faith and if we have not absorbed in Shravanam Kirtanam, then it becomes very hard to develop faith in Krishna during reversals. So before the reversals come itself, one should try to take up Krishna consciousness in a serious fashion. Some people take up Krishna consciousness at the time of reversals. That is also very beautiful. Like Gajendra, we say Arto Artarti Jignasu Jnani, right? 4 kinds of people to come to Krishna consciousness. If a person is coming to Krishna consciousness at the time of difficulty, that is fantastic. But for a person like many of us, we might have to take up Krishna consciousness earlier than we have a reversal. So if we take up Krishna consciousness early in life and if you are able to practice at the time of difficulty, we will be steady because Krishna will take care of us. So these are a few thoughts on this, Mataji. It's more on, like when we ask a question, how do we have that faith during reversal? How can we surrender during reversal? It has to come with practice. It's something that is very practical, right? It has to come with practice. The only answer is just continue to have that faith. Krishna is everything and continue to practice. Never leave our practice because Krishna ultimately is our maintainer and our well-wisher. So he will take care, Mataji, that's all. If she is not yet, if the person who's undergoing this difficulty has not yet taken up to Krishna consciousness at the time of difficulty, if she's able to take up to Krishna consciousness, then that itself will give the medicine for her problem. That itself will give the medicine, Mataji, like Gajendra.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji, what you said is like, yes, that is true. Like we have to, with daily practice, we can get some kind of faith, little faith. Step by step, we can progress. That is true. But when I see some devotees are having this kind of really, like when we hear also, I will be threatened, like, oh, my goodness, how they are able to suffer or how they are able to go to this pain. So at that time I feel, oh, Krishna, like that.
Yeah, it's a very good quality to feel the pain of others. That is Vaishnava's quality, right? Paradukha Dukhi. That is true. We should feel that compassion for others and we should feel their pain as ours. That is all important. At the same time, Krishna takes care of the devotee. Be confident about it also. He takes care in his way, not in our way. We expect him to take care of us in a particular way, but he takes care of us in a very different way, and which works out well for everyone. He knows what is best, so he will take care, Mataji. A person who's undergoing it, a devotee who's undergoing turmoil, will know how Krishna is taking care of him in every, or her in every situation.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. With this, dear devotees, anybody have any questions or realizations for Mataji? Okay. Thank you so much once again, Mataji, for taking up your special time for us and enlightening on the topic and very patiently answering all our questions, Mataji. Thank you so much once again for this beautiful session. So with this, I would like to pay my obeisances to you and all the devotees on the call. Vancha kalpatarupyasya asindubhya vacha
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila
All glories to all the assembled
Krishna Katha
devotees.
Mela ki jai. Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji
Mataji ki
jai.
jai.
And ki jai.
Thank you so